In this video, I'll show you how to create this wiggling effect inside Adobe After Effects. Now this can all be done within the shape layer itself, so let's jump in and do it. So what I've got here is a bunch of layers, and some of these layers are layers that I'm experimenting with. However, I've got this wiggly layer here, and we'll recreate this effect. If you're learning After Effects, then the best way to speed up your workflow is to learn the keyboard shortcuts, and there's a lot of them. So I've created a keyboard shortcut PDF that will show you all the hotkeys inside of After Effects. And depending on your workflow, you can pick the ones you would like to use. My personal favorite shortcut is the Command-Alt-Home shortcut, which will center the anchor point in the center of a text layer or a shape layer or any layer inside of After Effects. If you want to learn more shortcuts like this one, check the link in the description below to download your After Effects hotkey PDF. Alright, back to the video. So let's go and right click and add a new text. And that'll plop in a new text layer, and we'll type in our word, which is wiggly in this case. And I'm going to hide my last layer. You won't have that, of course. And so what I can do now is just center that anchor point, just using the pan behind tool. It's up here, and you can just click and drag that anchor point to center it. And I've just got my snapping options turned on and both of these checked so that I can center it to the middle of the shape. And now with that centered, I can actually just align that in my line panel so that it's all centered up nice. So what we're going to do now is twirl down the options for our wiggly layer. And I'm going to add two animate properties. So I'm going to go animate position, and we'll click animate, and we've got rotation here. And then we want to come down into our properties under text, and we've got this animator 1, and we can go add, and we can go a selector, and we want to select a wiggly selector. And so what this does is basically allows us to wiggle our text based on the numbers that we put into the position and the rotation. So let's go a bit extreme here, and I'm going to put 220 and 20. This may not be that extreme. However, when we play this back, you can see the letters wiggle a fair bit. And so all the options to this wiggle are in the wiggle selector. So if we just twirl that down there, we've got the maximum amount and the minimum amount is 100%, which means it's going to use 100% of the 20 position. So basically how the wiggle works is it will randomize a value and wiggle between 20, in this case pixels, off the center of the shape, or the center of where the position anchor point is for each letter. So what we'll do is we'll add, let's say 5 rotation. Let's go 5 on both the position, and now you can see that the letters are rotating. But we also want to adjust up here under more options here, we can adjust the alignment. So this is the alignment for the shapes, and it's basically an anchor point per character where each character is, and it's the anchor point for each character here. And so you can adjust this and say I want it per word, which is a word here, per line, all. We're going to go per character, which means that all these options down here, the position, the rotation, it's going to move 5 pixels up, down, left, right in the center position here, which I've adjusted with this percentage here. And we could put in -50, and maybe we want it to rotate from the top. So you can see here it's sort of this dangling, and we could actually turn off the position, if we just type in 0 here, and there you go, we created this little like dangly effect by just moving the anchor point per character. I'm going to put the position back to 5 for both of those figures, and we'll go about -45 on the offset, so they just wiggle a little bit there. We can also adjust the amount of wiggles per second, so I'm going to put it up to 4, which is double, and that is just every second it will change positions 4 times. And so if you bump that up super high, maybe you want to every second it changes position. So for 30 frames, we just press play. You can see it's really jiggly. So we'll just keep it really low at 4. And now the last thing I want to put on here is a turbulent displace. So we can just grab that in our effects panel, click that and drag that onto our shape layer. And we're going to push the values really low here, so we don't want it to wiggle as much as that. So I'll go 5 for the amount, and the size I'm going to push right down, maybe 10. We'll just have a look at it. We can adjust the amount. That's the amount of wiggle that this shape has. So we can just play around with that. And then I'm just going to Alt or Option click on the evolution stopwatch. That'll add an expression, and I can just type in time times, let's say 500 for now. And that should start wiggling the actual letters themselves. So if we adjust the amount up to 50, a real lot, you can see that the letters are wiggling themselves. And we'll see that better if I turn the animator layer off. So you can see without the wiggling of the actual animator turned off, you can see that the edge of the layer is wiggling like that. I don't want it extreme like that. I'll go maybe back to 15, just really light, and we'll turn the animator back on for our letters to wiggle once again. Alright, that's it for this tutorial. I hope to see you in the next one.